So I'm going to ask this question in all sincerity. Is this time of the year the best time to be an AEW fan? C2 season? Let me know, because with this lineup, it just might be. Hello and welcome to FTTR, I am Hugh McQuaid, and today we are talking about the Continental Classic in AEW. In particular, we are doing my predictions for the tournament, who I think the winners will be, what some of the stories might be in this tournament. There's a few elements that I want to touch on before we, find out who I think is going to win the whole thing. But before we dive into that, please subscribe, please like this video, please comment your thoughts down below, and I'll try to apply to every single one of them as we dive into this. Starting with the C2 itself, I am a big fan of the C2. I think it's one of the best things that AEW has brought to mainstream American wrestling. It is a great tournament. We love the G1. We love the N1 victory. We love round robin style tournaments. It keeps you wanting to tune back in to see who's going to pick up an upset. And this year's lineup is absolutely stacked. The Blue League and the Gold League are both stacked with talent. And it's made coming up with who I think is going to win, who I think is going to be in some of these semi-final matches. It has been a tough one to call, and we're going to sort of go in this direction. I'm going to go through each league, tell you who's in them, tell you what I think my semi-finals will be, tell you what I think my finals will be, and who I think the winner will be. I think it's going to be a very interesting tournament. I think there might be some swerves. I will say this, I've not touched on Full Gear on my channel. I'm a big fan of the Samoa Joe thing. If for nothing else, it has made AEW feel more unpredictable. Because, like I said, in my predictions video, I was 100% locked that Hangman was winning. And that swerve has made me swerve even more and maybe not go with some of the safe options for the C2. I think it was a brilliant piece of booking in that aspect. Maybe it wasn't best for story. I think it was best for story. I think it's a very interesting choice. But I think it's added an element of unpredictability to AEW that wasn't there before. And that leads into the Continental Classic. Now, another side note before I get into the predictions. Holy shit, some of these matches are going to be happening in Manchester. I have got tickets to AEW in Manchester, both Collision and Dynamite. So there's going to be a load of C2 matches that I get to see live. Some that I'd love to see there. Takeshita versus Claudio would be nice. Roderick Strong versus Mox, I think would be great. Darby Allin versus Speedball, I would love to see. Speedball versus Knight. There's so many matches that I hope, fingers crossed, happen when I'm there live. I cannot wait for it. But I have been rambling for about 3 minutes. Shall we just dive straight into these predictions with the Blue League? So the competitors in the Blue League are as follows: Konosuke Takeshita, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, and Mascara Dorada. What a lineup. That is stacked. You've of course got the IWGP World Champion in there. And who do I think is going to score the most points in this league? I'm going to first of all tell you who I don't think is going to score many points. And that's Jon Moxley. I think Jon Moxley potentially goes 0 for 6, 5. I think it's 0 for 6. 0 for whatever. I think there's a brief chance, apart from unfortunately in his match against Dorada, because Dorada I feel like might also take a few L's in this tournament. I think Jon Moxley is not going to do very well in this tournament. I think he's going to be maybe the bottom of the entire thing. I think that's a bold choice to make, but where he's going in terms of the Death Riders, that is what I am thinking. In terms of winners of this league and going to the semi-finals, Konosuke Takeshita is a given. I think if it's anyone but Takeshita here, what are we doing? Because it's definitely going to be him. It's who you put him up against. Now you've got Cassidy, Strong, Dorada, ruled out Moxley, and Claudio Castagnoli. I think the most interesting thing here is Jon Moxley gets no wins, Claudio gets a load. So I am putting Claudio Castagnoli in my semi-finals. I think the semi-final match will be Konosuke Takeshita versus Claudio Castagnoli. I get that's pretty heel heavy, potentially, because technically Konosuke Takeshita is a bad guy with Don Callis family, but he's breaking away from that trend. I think Claudio versus Takeshita is the semi-final for the Blue League. Now shall we talk about the Gold League? The 6 competitors who are in the Gold League are Darby Allin, Pac, Kevin Knight, Speedball Mike Bailey, Kyle Fletcher, and Kazuchika Okada. This one I think is harder to predict in some aspects because, again, you don't really want a heel-heel dynamic. That would be Okada versus Fletcher, and that is one that I think they could potentially run. However, I think Okada's definitely winning. I think Okada is definitely advancing to World's End to be in the semi-finals. He is my guaranteed pick. Who you put him up against? For me, and this might just be my heart hoping this, I'm going to go with Darby Allin. I think that Darby needs a few big wins under his belt. I get he's a bit of a punching bag. He can take all these losses. But I think him powering through, beating Pac, getting his win back against Pac, having a banger with Kyle Fletcher, leading to Darby versus potentially Okada, potentially someone from the Blue League if they do that in the end. I think Darby versus Okada as the top 2 would be awesome. So my picks for the Gold League, I'm going to go with Kazuchika Okada and Darby Allin. Now we're talking about these semi-final matches. Now the last time they did it, they sort of did cross league, I guess. So if we're going to go with that, let's just say it's Claudio versus Okada and Takeshita versus Darby. You can do them either way because the outcome's going to be the same for me and what I'm picking. I think that the winner of the semi-finals coming out of both sides will be Konosuke Takeshita and Kazuchika Okada. That will be the main event of AEW World's End. Okada versus Takeshita, the 2 best tournament wrestlers in the world right now, ploughing through the C2, winning the semi-finals, and then facing in the main event of World's End for that. I think it's for the Unified Championship. It'd be weird if it's just for one of his belts that he doesn't really carry anymore. But I think Okada versus Takeshita is the way to go. And as the final, I'd be completely happy with that. I would love that so much. Who wins is the ultimate question. Who wins between these two? I think there is more mileage in a Konosuke Takeshita chase, so I'm going to go with Okada winning the C2 again by beating Konosuke Takeshita, building to a rematch down the line. I think it would be the best outcome. They have protected Okada quite a lot. He beat Kenny Omega. Now potentially he's going to beat Konosuke Takeshita, win the C2 again. He will be the first time 2-time winner, and I think you can sort of build it up like that, building up to the eventual person who dethrones Okada in the C2. Like, even if he doesn't have the Unified Championship by the next C2, he could enter the C2 and people could look to beat him. They want to beat Okada. He is the one to beat, best tournament wrestler in the world. That is a great story to tell, and I think you can cement that by having Okada win here, build to Takeshita getting that unified title down the line. So overall, my prediction for the Continental Classic 2025, the winner will be Kazuchika Okada. But I want to know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. Who do you think is winning each league? Let me know down below and I'll try to apply to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much for your support and have a nice day.